Goes so fast, doesn't it? Welcome, everybody. Very glad you're here and here in our virtual sanctuary. Glad you're joining us today. We have a wonderful Sunday planned for you. Gratitude today for all of the volunteers who have started to return and assist in so many ways with our on-campus sanctuary and congregation. And thank you to those of you in the virtual audience who have offered to help as well. This whole place is held by love. And so right now I'm going to take you over to the band, and we'll have some wonderful music.
Well, if you're joining here in person today or out there, you want to stand up and move your body a little bit while we sing In the Name of Love. In the name of love, with a heart of grace, overflow in us, decorate this place. As it is below, so it is above. May we stand as one in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song, all as one, in the name of love. In the name of love, may we always be seeking out the best till we are free, living in a world we've been dreaming of, where we stand as one in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song, all as one, in the name of love. When the veil is gone, when the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song, all as one, in the name of love, in the name of love. In the name of love, in the name of love, just like that. In the name of love, in the name of love, sing it out. In the name of love, in the name of love. In the name of love, in the name of love. So nice to see your beautiful faces. Why don't you take a minute to greet some of those neighbors out there? supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome
Oh, is there anyone out there doubting that your soul is welcome here? And thank goodness it is. So nice that we could let the love bring us all together this morning. I'm Wanda Maddox, your practitioner today, and I am thrilled to be able to join you in prayer now. Thank you. Just breathing, a constant giving and receiving. And that is the love that is always present, that has brought each of us together, here in physical form and in our virtual audience. We are joined together in love, the love that is everlasting, eternal, infinite, and always present. We join together in knowing that this love is the light within. And we open to that as we open our heart and soul and minds to the music, to the wonderful message from Dr. Andrea, and the beautiful, beautiful sharing with all. And as we say these words into the law, if you wish to join me in saying, so it is. Thank you.
Take comfort as I am. Surrender all need for a plan. Divine presence is always at hand. Take comfort as I am. Take comfort. Take comfort as I am. Surrender all need for a plan. Divine presence is always at hand. Take comfort as I am. I know there's only one moving me to be untethered, undone. I accept this love healing, breathing me whole, and give thanks for it is done. Take comfort as I am. Surrender all need for a plan. Divine presence is always at hand. Take comfort as I am. I know there's only accept this love healing, breathing me whole. I know there's only one moving me to be untethered, undone. I accept this love healing, breathing me whole, and give thanks for it is done. And give thanks, and give thanks for it is done. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. Let the peace wash over us. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Let's let the peace wash over us. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be. We let the peace. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be.
I really do that. So nice. So nice to have peace. Well, I'm talking about something that I actually did my thesis on in ministerial school, walking the householder path. And I wrote that thesis 40 years ago or so. And I had 3 little children. And I had a husband who was way into a guru, not my current husband, different one. And so there was a lot up in our family about how to do family and have a spiritual life. Anybody else wrestle with that one? And and having little children, it's especially a big question. But it's a question that has continued to be an ask on my part, how to walk the householder path. So what does that exactly mean? Well, the distinguishing feature for most monastics, and it doesn't matter which tradition, is that they're walking a path that they've chosen where the entire focus is spiritual practice in every way. And those of us who are not monastics are considered to be on the household or the householder path. And so that path is an interesting blend for most of us who want to lead a spiritual life, because we have to remember our zip code and our Buddha nature. It's like, okay, we got two different things going on. We have the world of the mundane, where all of our focus is on maintaining the household, essentially, and then we have the spiritual path that we're seeking to walk as well, which invites us into different practices and different ways of seeing the world. And it's not that they don't go together, but it is that most of the writings that were initially put out into the world were writings from monastics. And while they were certainly deeply wise people, they didn't walk the householder path. In fact, at one point, I couldn't find the quote this morning, but I think it was Pir Inayat Khan, a great Sufi master, who said, "Take the most enlightened person, give them a mortgage payment, 3 children, and a spouse, and see how enlightened they stay." You know what I'm saying. It just brings up everything. And it's not that doesn't happen in monasteries. It's just usually we don't see it. And so we're left kind of going, are we being not very spiritual if we get mad at our children or a spouse or a partner? Do we feel guilty if what we really want is just time away to meditate? And so those questions are part of the householder path. And I think a lot of the profound dissatisfaction that we see in the shared life that we have as a society right now is because part of the difficulty that we as householders face is this sort of increasingly disconnected way we live in the world. And so, have you silenced your phones? Have you put them away? So the disconnect is at every level, but for us as householders, the pace of the world has increased, the pace of information gathering has changed, and it's very easy to feel very distant from the part of our nature that is connected, deeply connected to an indwelling divine energy. So what do? Well, I brought you a story. I actually have told this story before, but it just is such a great example of what a householder can do in order to let go of the profound dissatisfaction and begin to live connected to both worlds. So this is a story about a very famous astrophysicist named Victor Weisskopf. And this is an actual story that he tells in one of his books. Several years ago, I received an invitation to give a series of lectures at the University of Arizona in Tucson. This is my alma mater. I was delighted to accept because it would give me a chance to visit Kitt Peak's Astronomical Observatory, which has a very, very powerful telescope. I had always wanted to look through. I asked my host to arrange an evening to visit the observatory, and so that I could look directly at some of the most interesting objects that I've always been curious about and look through that telescope. But I was told that this would be impossible because the telescope was constantly in use for computer photography and other research activities. There was no time for simply looking. Well, in that case, I replied, I will not be able to deliver my talks. Within days, I was informed that everything had been arranged according to my wishes. We drove up the mountain on a wonderfully clear night. The stars in the Milky Way glistened intensely and seemed almost close enough to touch. I entered the cupola and told the technicians who ran the computer-activated telescope that I wanted to see Saturn and a number of the galaxies. It was a great pleasure to observe with my own eyes and with the utmost clarity all the details I had only seen on photographs. As I looked at all that, I realized that the room had begun to fill with people, and one by one, they too peeked into the telescope. I was told that those were astronomers attached to the observatory, but they had never before had the opportunity of looking directly at the objects of their investigations. And so that story is I'm using it as a metaphor for how we sometimes can accidentally or unintentionally live our own lives, where we're not ever directly in contact with the world. We're busy. And so to work with that dilemma is the spiritual path of a householder. That's what we're actually up to. But it's easy to just get lost in the distractions because they are immense, everything from jobs to childcare to trying to be available for another person, and let's not forget food prep and grocery shopping and trash out and cleaning the toilets and maintaining the car and checking our cholesterol and on and on and on it goes, So how do we pay attention to raising our hydrangeas and raising money for people who need our support, but also at the same time maintain our focus and see everyone in their nobility as a sacred being? How do we do that? And, the incorrect assumption is that the way we do that is we need to change the circumstances. We need to get a different spouse or get a different job or wear different clothes or change our diet or have a different religion, and then we'll be in touch with our spiritual nature. So far, that hasn't worked for me. How about you? I've done a lot of that. However, what I finally realized at some point along this road of mine was that actually that's not it. That what actually is the purpose and the point of the householder path, the spiritual path, that path is to actually truly have awareness and vitality and kindness that we are inhabiting, that we put into our daily efforts. And in that way, everything becomes sacred. I learned this along the way in many different facets of my own living, and I'm sure you have too. But of course, I had the incredible teacher Thich Nhat Hanh to guide me on this path of the householder. Yes, a monastic. Yes, an old man. Yes, someone who was taken care of by his monks and nuns at every step of the way. And yet, what he had to say was born out of the deep wisdom of working so closely with so many householders through the years. So what did he say? He said, let me read you something he said because it's so beautiful. It sort of sums up what he says. He says, to my mind, the idea that doing dishes is unpleasant can only occur when you're not really doing them. Once you are standing in front of the sink with your sleeves rolled up and your hands in the warm water, it really is quite pleasant. I enjoy taking my time with each dish, being fully aware of the dish, the water, and each movement of my hands. I know that if I hurry in order to eat dessert sooner, the time of washing dishes will be unpleasant and not worth living. That would be a pity for each moment. Every second of life is a miracle. The dishes themselves and the fact that I am here washing them are miracles. So for me, the first time I went to Plum Village and heard him speaking like this, I still had little children, and so I went home and for quite a while was able to maintain an awareness of being fully present with everything I was doing. Eventually, sadly, it wore off, which it does, because I was on some sort of Buddhist contact high, I think, and had touched into the reality of the miracle of mindfulness. But it didn't entirely go away. And as I continued to practice mindfulness in all the different forms that are hugely available to a householder, I began to realize that what he was pointing to was the ability to stay and remain in the present moment as much of the time as possible, and not to be swept away into things that were not happening right now. Either the future with its worries and concerns and anxiety, or the past with its regrets or its feelings of shoulda, coulda, woulda, but instead to stay in the present moment as much as possible, with the mind and the heart being centered with each person, with each event, with each action. Now, I still haven't pulled it off to maintain that state all the time. But I can say from that practice that I am more fully joyful, peaceful, satisfied than I've ever been in my life. And I expect that as I continue this practice more and more, that will remain true and even truer for me. This is not news, by the way. You can study any great mystic, and all of them basically say, well, the point of practice is in the now. Famously, when I was young and still an Episcopalian, I was studying Brother Lawrence, who was a Catholic. But he was an amazing person. He lived in the 17th century. He became a soldier because he was so poor that he didn't have food. And so the only way to get food in his station in society was to become a soldier. So he became a soldier, and he got to eat, and he got a tiny little bit of money, and then he got injured. And so he then had to exit the military, and through a practice of working as a footman for a noble, he encountered this order of that was actually started by St. John of the Cross, whom I talked about last month. And so he became a monastic. But he was like, even in monasteries of that time, if you were not a nobleman, you were not going to be, elevated in the ranks. So he was made basically a kitchen helper. And so he got all the crappy jobs, to put it very simply. So he was the one that took out the compost, and he was the one that did all the food prep, and he was the one that was in the kitchen for hours standing on his feet washing dishes. He was the one that did all those chores. Sound familiar, householders? And so one of the things that he began to practice was serving God with every action he was doing. That was his way of putting it. And he said, I turn my little omelet in the pan for the glory of God. I wash the dishes knowing that I am making the king happy, the king, God. And so, he's only one of so many who have reported this presencing that allows us to then connect in a way that most of us don't live out as a householder. So how can you connect? I'm wanting this to be a relevant talk to all of us, whether we still have little kids around, or we've had the pleasure of watching them grow and change, and now we have to be present with them in different ways, mostly silent. If you're like me, smile a lot, say "great job," and that's about it. But in any stage of life, the opportunity to walk this path between remembering your zip code and remembering your true nature can happen by simply bringing the task that you already do into a different place. So how many of you are gardeners? Yes, I figured. This is a big gardening community up here. So that's the easiest place, I think, for a lot of people who are gardeners to actually experience the divine in the ordinary, to actually have the ordinary become sacred, because being around things that are being prepared for growth is such a metaphor, right, for preparing our own way for growth. And so if you're a gardener, one of the easiest ways is before you begin whatever task you have, whether it's weeding, which is a huge part of a gardener's life, or planting, or harvesting, or watering, is to center understanding that you are literally in the garden of the divine, and you are the gardener. And approaching it from that angle, all of a sudden, weeds are not nuisances that have to be dealt with, but instead, they're part of your divine appointment. Really. I mean, I know it sounds kind of cheeky and kind of corny, but really, that's how it looks. That's how it feels. And the same is true in every arena. If you're someone that really loves cooking, like me, and I know there's a lot of you here that Gourmets for Good is happening, a lot of you here who not only love cooking but love eating, that too is an opportunity for practice. In fact, it's the place where in Plum Village they start you. They start you in the kitchen if you're a newcomer, doing food prep. And they do things like the nuns will come around and they'll watch what you're doing, and they'll say things like, it's all right to go slow. Because so often we're just trying to get it done, right? And then when you're eating, the first bite you chew 30 times, whether it's oatmeal or a carrot, 30 times. And not only do you chew it 30 times, but you pay attention as the food in your mouth changes. So there's a mindfulness to what you're doing. The first time that I went to Plum Village, I took too much food. And, chewing every bite 30 times, because that's what I thought we had to do, then I realized, only the first bite. So I was there for an hour and a half. Everybody else was gone. All the tables were cleaned except mine, because I was practicing. Anything can become a point of practice. Anything can become a place where we enter into the relationship that actually is there all the time, but we're not. The relationship with the divine. The miracle of being a sacred human, of being gifted this life and this planet and this way. And so for me, I want to give you a homework assignment. I'd like you to pick just one thing, because you don't want to be eating for an hour and a half like I did, but just pick one thing that you really think you could pull off to be mindful with in this next week. Not just once, but all week. And then actually do the assignment. And if you forget, no harm, no foul. It's very easy to become distracted, but bring yourself back. One other thing, and maybe it's just me, but I was reading a piece by Marianne Williamson, I think it was this morning, early, and she is a proponent of the Course in Miracles, a great teacher of that path. And she was reporting that one morning recently she woke up and she went and got coffee and she started looking at her phone, and she started feeling more and more and more disgruntled and out of sorts, and kind of, Marianne gets grumpy. And so she was reporting that she was in this state when she realized that what she always does is she starts her day by doing a lesson in the Course in Miracles. That's the very first thing she does, is she wakes up, does the lesson, and then meditates, and then gets coffee. So that's the one more thing, is it's so easy to just hop on the computer or hop on your phone, hop on the iPad, and just start going. But what about just I'm not saying you have to give it up entirely. I'm just saying, maybe like Marianne, there's a moment of being present before entering into the day. Just a thought. I think it might work. And what's the whole point of this? Because I've had people say to me, so I'm going to chew my stuff 30 times. What's the big deal? I've actually had congregants in my other community say that to me. And I'm like, okay, I must not have been clear, so I'll be really clear with you guys. The point is to actually connect with the divine, and the connection, when it's made, equates to peace, joyousness, and deep satisfaction. I don't know about you, but I could stand some more of that. I'm willing to give up rushing into the phone for some of that. So how about if I do a prayer for willingness? Join me as I know this truth for you and for me. There is more to this life than the coming and going of all of the different tasks and to-do lists that I make for myself. And I turn my attention now to the more, to the place where my human being intersects with my sacred being. That part of me which is indelible, unchanging, eternal, and has chosen to take incarnation in this very body at this very time. And as I remember this, I remember that there is something within me that is more vast than I can even conceptualize. Beyond the Milky Way and the galaxies seen through a telescope, it is a vastness that is alive with energy. And that energy is available all the time, every time, in me and in you. Its focal point is love. And out of that love, all things are created. And so I allow the energy of the divine to move in me as creation, creating a deep, rich, and sacred expression in this very lifetime with the life that I have before me. I realize that I must be willing to allow change so that I can be more fully present. And so in small ways and large ways, I allow change to unfold through my daily so that the presence of the divine, the outpicturing of energy through me, can do its work in new and deeply wonderful ways. And in this way, I experience the miracle of being a sacred human walking on the earth right now. I am centered, I am at peace because of this understanding, this awareness, and I am so grateful. I allow this prayer to do its mighty work in me, fully willing to open to it. And in this way, I am changed and lifted, as are you. And so it is. Thank you. I'm going to invite the ushers to prepare for the offertory, and I'm going to invite you to as well. And we'll have some wonderful music by our band. I want to thank you in advance for anything that you give to the center, either through the mail or through the ACH transfers or whatever, and also for today. It allows us to do this good work.
Everything in this world goes around, flowing with abundance, it knows no bounds. Giving and receiving, we circulate the love, with gratitude and knowing there's always enough. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks with this offering. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks for everything. Everything in this world goes around, flowing with abundance, it knows no bounds. Giving and receiving, we circulate the love, with gratitude and knowing there's always enough. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks with this offering. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks for everything. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks with this offering. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks for everything, for everything. We give thanks for everything.
Oh, so many wonderful things are happening. So outside on those tables are some incredible dinners that you have the opportunity to bid on, so that you could perhaps win the bid and get to be part of the dinner party that these special people are preparing. So how do you do that? Well, you go first to a table over here, and if you haven't received a bidding number, they'll give you a bidding number, or like me, if you forgot your bidding number, they will look it up and give it to you again. And then you go and you look at what's available. There's a little map that tells you which dinners are where, and make a bid. The highest bidders at the end of our bidding time, which will be noon on May 15th, will be the winners, and they'll be contacted by the Gourmets for Good team and have an opportunity to have an incredible dinner. So if you haven't checked it out, do check it out. It's really amazing, the different offerings. We actually have, I think our clicker person can show you. So there's a simply called green, and that's the green Tara. And then there's Mardi Gras with Anne and Kelvin. There's what's next, Celebrating Connection with Kalish, having organic everything. There's Tuscany. Wow, that's going to be an interesting one with Kathy and Greg. Thank you for doing that. Amazing. Here's Joe and mine and Mary's offering. We're having a Zydeco dance lesson, as well as some amazing food. There's the Ridiculous Gourmet Burger Bar with Dougie and Christine. There's the Summer Salmon Salad with Shyla and Tom. There's the Earth First Dock Party with Kendra. No, this is Mike and Pat's, and they are vegan, so this is a vegan dinner. And then Lounging at the Lake is Kendra's, and Kendra's here today. I think I saw her. There you are. Thank you, Kendra, for doing it. Kendra's one of our newer folks. And then there's Dinner with a View with Biff and Laurel. They're here today, too. And they have a spectacular new home they're inviting you to. And then, did any of you sample last week's Istanbul offering with Jen and Jenny? Oh my God, that got the highest bidding last week because they brought samples. And then Ronna Biggs and her family went out and gathered the clams on Long Beach. And Kathy and Ronna are offering clam fritters by the bay. And let's see, teriyaki barbecue and games with Shelly and Steve. They are so fun. And the Strudel Fest, which is also with Jenny and Jan, and they're going to have you make them, I think. Is that true? Yeah, you're going to make strudel. That'll be interesting. So those are our dinners, and they're all at different times, so be sure and take your phone out. This is when you need your phone to, orient to the mundane, because it has happened before that people have won a bid and then, only then, realized that they were supposed to be at the women's retreat or something. So be sure you look at the dates that these are offered, and as Zena says, bid high, bid often. Now, there's a couple other things you may want to be a part of. Amber's going to tell you about her ukulele class.
Sure. Yes, if you have been itching to learn something new, or maybe you got a ukulele at some point in your life and it's just sitting around, I'm going to be teaching a absolute beginner's ukulele class here at the center in person. And so you don't have to have any previous musical experience, although if you do, that's also fine. The goal is to be able to play some of the songs that we play here at the center, other spiritually minded tunes. And so you'll also have a joy-filled experience just learning those songs.
Yep, Tuesdays, 7 to 8 p.m. starting on...
The 17th of May.
17th of May. And then the other two things I wanted to make sure you know about, the men's group is meeting next week. They meet in an integrated fashion, meaning you can join with Zoom or in person. And the women's group is back for their last session before the summer. We'll join again in September. So this last session, we wanted to do it in person. So that's on the 15th, and we hope you'll join us. Because that's the last day of bidding, the women's circle is going to start at 12:15 instead of noon, because the bell rings at noon, and we don't want to cut anybody off. Could get ugly. All right, I think the only other things, be sure to notice that we have a new prayer on our website for May, and if you are in need of prayer, don't forget our practitioners are there for you. You can connect with them via the website, or in the back of the room here, we have prayer request forms that you can put into the prayer vessel, and Wanda will pick those up and work with those during the week. All right, well, let's take ourselves out of here. I have a feeling this is a stand and sing thing.
Anything is possible when you believe. You know, anything is possible when you believe. You can make a mountain move when you believe. Oh yeah, you can make a mountain move when you believe. Don't you know that you can change your life when you believe? Oh yeah, you can really change your life when you believe in yourself. In yourself, when you believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself. When you believe, oh, we're gonna make a miracle. When you believe, we're gonna make a miracle. When you believe, everything you want, you got. When you believe, you know everything. You know anything is possible when you believe in yourself. In yourself. When you believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself. When you believe in yourself. What a wonderful time we've had together. You all have a great day. We'll see you again soon. 1, 2, let it go.